Life Unrehearsed on CJAD 800. Brought to you by Marco Vendramini of IG Private Wealth Management. MarcoVendramini.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Life Unrehearsed, a show about the ins and outs of family life. So your life isn't going exactly as planned? Well, you're not alone, and we're here to help out. My name is Matt Del Vecchio, specializing in free retirement home search and senior transition support, here with my co-host, Corrie Sirota, clinical social worker and psychotherapist, specializing in grief and loss. Coming right up in the first half, Corrie, we know when we've got a hot topic. We generally post on our Life Unrehearsed Facebook on Thursdays or Fridays for the segments, and this particular segment has got a lot of shares, there's a lot of interest. We're going to be talking about the definition of beauty, which is in the eye of the beholder. Why is there a stigma surrounding the term plus size? Well, our first guest is determined to change society's definition of beauty. Every body for everybody. Justine Frankel is all over social media and proud to share her desire to become a model and her journey towards self-love. And we can't wait to hear about that one, Corrie. It's going to be very interesting.
Without a doubt.
You talk about interesting, the fall lineup we've got on Life Unrehearsed, Corrie. I'm so excited about it. There are so many. We are booked for the next 2 months. We've got a ton of topics that we're going to be discussing. We've got breast cancer awareness month coming up. We've got the marijuana legalization that's coming in less than a month. We've got an incredible guest for that. We've got mental health caregivers. We've got Jamie Benezri is going to be talking legal issues.
Gotta love Jamie.
We're going to be talking financial advice, diabetes. So the next 7 weeks are booked on Life Unrehearsed and lots of very interesting topics.
And that's what we're here to do. We want to help people navigate all sorts of challenges and also celebrate the successes that they experience. So really, I'm very excited about each and every one that we are bringing that we have brought to the table and that we would continue to bring to the table. I'm looking forward to that. And by the way, the second half of the show, no exception. On top of our great first half guest, our second half of the show, we are going to be speaking with Scott Oake. Most of you probably know him as an on-ice reporter for Hockey Night in Canada, but really, Scott is going to be sharing far more of a personal story with us. In fact, his son battled addiction, and unfortunately, addiction won. Scott is going to be a guest on the second half of our show today, and he's going to speak about how that experience propelled him into becoming an advocate for drug addiction and awareness. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, and we're very thankful to have Scott on the show to talk about a very personal story, and I know it will resonate with a lot of people. So that's on the second half after the 4:30 news here on Life Unrehearsed. And let's get started with our first guest, Justine Erin Frankel. Well, she hopes to win the next Beauties of the World Modeling Agency contest. She's right in the middle of it right now. This contest inspired Justine to speak out to women who feel they do not fit the media-driven definition of beautiful. Justine is a plus-size model, and for her, this contest is a way to help send a message to plus-size women from Montreal that it's okay to love one's body, no matter what people think about it. And so true. Justine, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited and a little nervous, actually.
And completely normal, and I was just going to mention, first of all, thank you for coming on the show and being courageous, not only for coming on air with us, but for what you are doing. I think what you are doing is amazing. You're speaking to a lot of people out there. And I have to just start with how old you are.
I am 24 years old.
24. So you're just a young one, and amazing what you're doing at a ripe young age of 24, getting the word out, and good on you. So let's first start with how did you even get involved in the modeling aspect?
Well, I went through a very rough patch in my young adult life, and when that rough patch ended, I really wanted to start advocating for body positivity and loving oneself, regardless of what other people think and what other people want you to be. I realized that you can't impress everyone and you can't please everyone, so why not just please yourself? And I had a friend who had been working with a certain photographer, and I said, if you ever need someone plus size, I'd love to be in front of the camera, of course. And she asked him, and he was very interested. I did my first photo shoot just for fun. He said, the camera loves you. You should be doing this more often. And that's how it all started.
Amazing.
So it's so nice. It's really encouraging. But I have to ask you, how would you define plus size modeling?
Well, it's a funny term, plus size modeling. I define it the same way as I define modeling. Modeling is modeling. I just have a better diet and better food.
Well, Justine, we know each other a little bit, and this is so you. I like you being so natural. But it can't be easy. I mean, let's put the stigma aside because we want to address that. But while talking about the modeling aspect of things, what are some of the challenges? I think right even down to the heels you were mentioning.
Oh, yeah. I cannot walk in heels. That is a challenge I've been facing. Luckily, at the moment, I'm only a photo model, not a runway model yet, but I'll have to take a few courses in heels. Luckily, actually, the agency I'm representing, the Next Beauties of the World, they actually offer courses on how to walk in heels, how to better pose, so I get all that.
Interesting.
That's Justine Frankel. She is determined to change society's definition of beauty and is working towards her modeling career, but changing the term plus size model. So I don't know if I'm a little hesitant to use it. Can I ask you what kind of feedback you've received from other people?
Mostly it's an amazing response. Everyone's been super good. There's been negative. There's always negative when it comes to big girls. Nobody wants you advocating that it's okay to eat a pizza instead of a salad, although that's what I advocate. The biggest issue I'm having right now is the quote-unquote good for you brigade that I've been dealing with, and it's when my family or my friends or myself will say, oh, I'm plus size modeling. Everyone will be like, wow, that's so good for you. And it's like, well, you wouldn't tell Gigi Hadid, like, good for you, girl. Like, you go on with your bad self. Like, you would say, like, well, that makes sense. She's thin and gorgeous. Not that I have anything against thin models. I think everyone is beautiful. But I don't understand why you would say to me, good for you. I mean, like, I'm just doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's a very interesting perspective. It's good for you is okay. Yeah, well, why not just the same reaction if it was a skinny model? So I completely hear what you're saying. And you talk about what people's perceptions and how they're talking about pro or con. I'd love to hear about how your family members think about this.
Well, luckily in studio now we have a family member. Mom, what do you think about this?
So surprise everyone. Justine Frankel is my daughter, and so we decided that I was so impressed with what she had chosen to do and really go out there. And Justine has always been the kind of kid who just didn't follow the norm, so to speak. And so I guess I'm going to speak for my husband and I, but certainly for myself, she's my role model.
Oh.
Because she challenges society all the time in terms of what is and what isn't, or what should and shouldn't be. And really, so many people, and I know I have learned so much from her.
It is special, and it is touching for you to say that. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you can see there's some genuine emotion going on here in the studio. And because, you know what, I'm just an outsider, but you are a role model to me as well. I think you're talking to a lot of moms, a lot of daughters. And speaking of that, what would you say to some of the younger girls out there that are having issues with body image?
Well, I understand it. It's really hard to have these issues, whether you're big, whether you're small, whether you're, regardless of race, regardless of anything, you're going to have issues with your body, even men and women. I just say to people that as long as you feel comfortable with yourself, then that's all that matters. The first step is to love yourself. The next step is, okay, I love myself and I'm worthy of love. What do I want to do? Some people might want to lose weight. That's okay. Some people might not. That's also okay. It's really about learning who you are, loving who you are, and knowing you're worthy, and then going with that.
That's wow. This is why I'm so proud.
Way to go, Mom.
There you go. So we're going to have to head out to traffic, but when we come back, Justine has a very unique definition of what she calls body positivity, and so we're going to hear about what that means. But first, we're going to hear from Lauren Glazer with a quick traffic update.
Live Unrehearsed on CJAD 800. Brought to you by Marco Vendramini of IG Private Wealth Management. MarcoVendramini.com.
Welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Corrie Sirota with Matt Delvecchio, and we are talking about body positivity with aspiring plus-size model Justine Frankel. Right before traffic, I asked you the question because I know that you're on a mission to change society's definition of body image. You have a very unique definition of what you say. Most people talk about having being positive about their body, but you talk about body positivity. What does it mean to you?
Body positivity is an interesting thing because it started off really as a movement to help women that were plus sized, but now it's gone so far from that because body positivity is really your body and whoever you are, male, female, regardless of race, regardless of size, like I always say. And I mean, people who have physical handicaps, people who have mental handicaps, everyone, like, just, it's about really being positive and loving who you are and using that as a starting point. Like I had said before, it's really about loving yourself and then choosing what you want to do with that love. And loving yourself doesn't necessarily mean wanting to change your body, and it doesn't necessarily mean not wanting to change your body. You can want to lose that weight. You can do it. Like, go for it. But just know that if you do lose the weight, if you don't lose the weight, if you do change whatever, you're still worthy of love. You're still beautiful. That's it.
It was so well said. You know, that's Justine Frankel talking to us about changing society's definition of beauty. And Justine, again, very courageous what you're doing. We should add that Justine's proud mom is Corrie Sirota. And good on both of you for just even coming on air to talk about this. Justine, we were talking a little bit off air about the challenges of social media shaming. We're getting that more and more. We're seeing it. Sometimes it could be pro, sometimes it could be a big con. What's your viewpoint on that?
I think that no matter what, you're always going to have people shaming. Like I said at the beginning of the show, you can't please everyone. And some people they're really, really against showing and showcasing and advocating for fat. That's like my favorite word in the world is fat, by the way. And people are very fat phobic and are like, if you're showing someone who's fat, like, that's disgusting. You're letting young girls know that it's okay to eat that much, but it's okay. Like, it's cool. I'm not advocating for people to be unhealthy. I'm advocating for people to love themselves and to be okay with a little extra something. Like, I'm pretty healthy. I mean, like, all given, I'm pretty healthy and I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm happy and I can walk up and down the stairs and, you know, I'm not unhappy, and I feel shamed all the time. People write on my posts, people write on my pictures, and I sit there deleting them because it makes me feel uncomfortable. I recently had a photographer. I posted a more open picture of me sitting down where you really see the rolls of my stomach, and a photographer wrote to me and said, I don't want to work with you anymore because I didn't realize you were that big. It's what I call the flat, not fat. It's they want someone curvy, but not someone with stomach. It's the problem in the world right now in the media and representation is that there's not enough of people with average, normal bodies.
Fair enough. So then can you tell me about this, a little bit more about this competition that you're in, this Next Beauties of the World? Where are you at with that? What's that about?
It's amazing. I really, really love the Next Beauties of the World. It's a company that is hiring and working with models of every different type of body imaginable. And a lot of girls, like, when I started off modeling, I was like, there's no way that they're going to take me because I'm too short and I'm too big. And those are, like, the problems. And they'll take you. Like, they're really, really great. And they started a little competition in which I won the voting round, which was amazing. Thank you to everyone who helped me out with that. And then we did 4 episodes. 3 are out on the website. Agence NBT New Beauties. Sorry, I'm really bad at letters. New Beauties. NBOTW.com. Sorry.
New Beauties of the World.
New
right?
Beauty. Yeah. Next Beauties of the World.
Next
Oh my
Beauties,
gosh.
okay.
So we have a couple episodes out, and now we're just doing training and working together and doing what we can before we continue to the runway show, which is going to be in April, I think.
Amazing. And again, good for you for just even having the guts to do this. That's Justine Frankel talking to us about body positivity. We're running out of time, Justine, but I know you've certain goals that you've set for yourself, not just for this contest, but above and beyond that. What are some of your major goals?
Well, my first major goal, if anyone is looking for a plus size model, please hit me up. Like, I have not made a dime from this, and I am a struggling student. So please come and hire me to model your clothing. I'm good. Like, I know what I'm doing. But my other goal really is not just for me. It's for women in general. It's for websites in general. A lot of companies rather that offer plus size clothing, they'll have like size 14 to 36 or something, and they'll only have a size 14 model. And that to me is not fair. On the website, you want accurate representation. Just a girl with bigger breasts and bigger hips and no stomach is not what every girl looks like, is not what the average girl looks like. So what my goal is to help people realize that more representation is needed of the average plus size woman.
Yeah, you were saying, just your size for when you're getting clothes, that could vary alone.
Yeah, depending on what store, I can be a size 14, I could be a size 16, I could be a size 18. I mean, I've looked into dress shopping, you could be a size 20. I could even be a 22. Like, some companies, they market to put these sizes lower just so that you could feel shitty about yourself. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just swore on the radio. Nice. Sorry.
Do you want to thank?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's one way to close you out. And you are passionate, Justine. Honestly, you are helping out a lot of people with body image, and I think, like you say, love yourself first, and it starts from there. Well, thank you very much. How can people get a hold of, the modeling page or the contest? I am on Facebook, Jus Franks Modeling. I am on Instagram at jus.franks, and you can always look up the Next Beauties of the World, their Facebook page. If you look them up on Google, you'll find their website, and you can see pictures of me and the other models there if you want to look into any of us. Thank you. Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Justina. You always do me proud, minus the superlative.
No.
Coming up, we will be talking with Scott Oake. His son fought addiction and the addiction won. So coming up after the news, you're going to hear how Scott Oake took that tragedy and became a national advocate for drug addiction awareness. We'll be heading out to news shortly.
I don't ever want